right, my name is Elton Brober. We are live on all our social media handles, on Facebook, on X Spaces, on YouTube, and of course on myjoyonline.com. Now, in a matter of hours, majority of government and private workers will lay down their tools across the country as in a move that could shut down the economy. Transport operators will not work, whilst electricity workers will also lay down their tools. Even mortuary workers say they will not attend to work. That's their situation facing the country. Organised Labour, which is leading the protests, are demanding several actions to end illegal mining, which has polluted the country's water bodies and destroyed our forest cover. The strike is backed by the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, which is supporting the push with demonstrations. The Catholic bishops in Accra also plan to stage a prayer protest set for Friday. Yesterday, 9 out of the 15 branches of IPAC voted to back the action. The Public Utilities Workers Union and others, including the GPLTU, as well as some civil society organizations, have all indicated their readiness to embark on the strike tomorrow. We'll hear from all of these groups shortly and also speak to Russell Saridonko, who has been to some illegal mining sites today. But first, let me take you live to the TUC, that's the Trade Union Congress headquarters, where Organised Labour, they've been meeting since morning. James Abeji is there for Joy News and he joins us. So James, what is happening? We are hearing some disagreement among members of Organised Labour. Feed us in.
Well, Elton, it's been about an hour of closed-door meeting now between members or leadership of the various labor unions led by leadership of the Trades Union Congress. Internal, deliberations amongst them from about 2:15 p.m. when the leadership of TUC, the Secretary General as well as the Chairman of TUC, walked into that conference room. We got here at about 1 p.m. and when we got here, just a single member, the the Secretary General of UTAC TUC was seated in the room. Then at 2:15, the leadership ushered in other members of the group. Professor Jampo was amongst the group of members who walked in earlier with the Public Utility Workers Union leadership. Some, if you do not know them, you could see them wearing the cloth of their unions. They walk in there and then the media was asked to excuse them. Now, when we came, I did some background checks and I was told that there is a pre-meeting before this meeting that is currently being held amongst, the board of TUC. It is unclear what that particular initial meeting is about or was about before they now came in to do the general meeting with leadership of the various labor unions. Just when they started and I finished the earlier report at 2:30, Thomas Musa, the president, the secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, walked past me into the meeting, but in about a few minutes he walked out, and I did not see NAGRAT president Angel Kabunu also. We know that the last 2 days he was one of those who were charging the atmosphere ahead of that press conference when we walked in there. He is also absent of the meeting now. What we're picking initially, the initial information we had was that this meeting is expected to give us some modalities as to how the strike will be held amongst the workers. You know that the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey issued some sort of flyer indicating to the general public, especially those who will be proceeding on the leave, on how they should go about the protest. They should tie red armbands on their arms, on their head, as well as their vehicles anytime they step out in town. And so the understanding we got is that this very particular TUC meeting is supposed to provide some guidance on how the protest is supposed to, or the demonstration is supposed to hold, the strike action is supposed to hold from tomorrow. But in the last few hours, there's been some information coming that the various labor unions are still arguing as to whether they really want to go on this strike action. That's what we're picking from our ears on the ground in the conference room that there's still negotiations as to whether this should really come on or not. We've seen that the Ghana Medical Association, for instance, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, those two organizations have all opted out of laying down their tools. They've urged their members to stay on while they throw their solidarities to the labor unions in this strike. And so what we're picking out, we cannot confirm though, but the information we have is that there's still agitation among the labor unions as to whether they really want to proceed on this demonstration from tomorrow. So Elton, that's what we're picking at for now, as the meeting is still ongoing about an hour for now as we speak.
James, if I may come in, early on you said the General Secretary of NAT, the Teachers Association, the largest body in the organized labor structure, he came in, went out. Is he still part of this ongoing meeting that we are told is discussing the possibility of going on this strike or not?
Yes, so he came in, and in about 10-15 minutes, he walked out, but would not speak to us. And I mean, the consensus we had, Elton, is that today will be less than 24 hours, the strike will happen, as the organized labor led by TUC announced to us on Monday. And so the consensus was that today would be strict instruction on how this will be carried out. And so if you know, on Monday, the meeting that happened before that reaffirmation announcement by Joshua Ansah happened within about 25-30 minutes. When we arrived, we're in the hall, they opted us out of the hall, the conference room. We came out in about 20-30 minutes. That meeting was done, and then the reaffirmation announcement was made. Today it's been over an hour, and we don't know how this is leaning. And the argument is that the various labor unions, some of them are still unsure as to whether they really want to go on this. And so it is expected that a general consensus will be reached before an official announcement is made. And so what we know is that that is what the leadership are trying to do to get everybody on board. We've seen UTAG voting on the various campuses across the country, giving huge endorsement to this. We've seen NAT, NAGRAT earlier indicated their support for this. The two of them, as we speak, the big teacher unions, NAT, NAGRAT, are not in that meeting as we speak. In fact, if they have dedicated some other members, but the two leaders that we know, frontliners, Thomas Musa as well as Angel Kabonu, are not in the meeting as we speak. And so that's what we are understanding as far as that meeting is concerned. As to whether at the end of the day they will still declare to proceed on the strike by tomorrow morning, we do not know yet. And so that's the bone of contention in the conference room as far as the meeting is concerned, from what we're picking on the grounds as far as the meeting is concerned, Elton.
James, let me leave you for now to concentrate on this meeting, because the understanding is that after they are done with their meeting, they will speak to the media and then they will tell us how they will proceed with the intended strike action. So, James, we'll leave you for now. We'll come back to you when Organized Labour, when they are done with their meeting, and then their communication to the general public, because tomorrow, according to them, will be the day for them to strike indefinitely. Now, so we'll take you back to the office of the Trade Union Congress, where members of Organized Labour are meeting to firm up their decision to go on strike. It is unclear for now whether they will proceed or they will suspend it or they will cancel it. Whatever it is, we'll take you back to the TUC to have the very latest on this matter. But we'll stay on this matter because so many issues are coming up. Now, earlier this morning, Board Chairman of the Ghana Meteo Agency declared that any staff member of the agency who participates in the organized labor strike tomorrow will be dismissed. He emphasized that the agency provides essential service and therefore cannot be part of the strike.
On behalf of the board and leadership of this agency, I want to announce to you that GMet does not approve any of its workers to join the nationwide strike. And any worker who will flout the directive of your board should declare himself or herself as having terminated his or her appointment if you join the strike. We are an essential services that provide very important and critical services to the nation. Any worker that will flout this directive coming from the board, if you have sent yourself from work from tomorrow, do not step within these premises again. You have terminated your appointment.
So the man you saw there, he is the board chairman of the Ghana Meteor Agency. I mean, warning staff of implications should they take part in the strike announced by Organised Labour tomorrow. It's unclear whether even the strike will come on after all. We'll take you back to the TUC headquarters. But that assertion, espoused by the board chair of the Ghana Met Agency was quickly, shut down by the Communications Minister, Electoral.
Environmental devastation caused by illegal mining and the impact it has on all of us is important. But as an essential service, you also have to weigh your duties to your labor federation with your duties to the state. And so I'll urge you that there are many forms of protest. Wear your red armbands to demonstrate your solidarity with organized labor. I will also wear a red armband because I'm against the devastation caused to our environment by illegal miners. And I spoke about it this morning. It's a duty that we all have to do, and there's work that we all have to do. It can't just be government responsibility alone. We need to work on changing our attitudes as Ghanaians and protecting our environment as our heritage to the next generation, and taking it as a matter of seriousness so that nobody hides under the guise of politicking or getting rich quick to devastate our environment, which has a huge impact on all our lives. So by all means, show your solidarity with organized labor, but come to work and wear your red bands. That's the modification that I will suggest to. I don't want any of you to lose your jobs. You've worked too long and hard in this organization when the times were hard. Now that times are improving, you have to stay around to also enjoy the benefits of your labor. So let's see how we can find a workable compromise so that you can express your solidarity and still come to work to provide the essential services that you provide to the nation.
Welcome back. Now, let's continue the discussion. In the studio right now is Carol Annan, a member of the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. They are organizing what they call Red Band Against Galamsey, and that is starting today or tomorrow. It's already started. I see your red already on your hand.
We're getting into the mood.
Into the mood. So this is just warm up.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll also take you live to the TUC when they are ready to address the media on the way forward as far as tomorrow is concerned. The Lands and Natural Resources Minister, which Samuel Agujinapo, has also been explaining why government cannot declare a state of emergency. We'll bring that one to you as well. And they tell you who is out of the strike. The Ghana Medical Association, the Nurse and Midwifery Association, government, pharmacists will tell you why they say that they cannot be part of the strike tomorrow. So, Ms. Carol, so tomorrow is Red Day. Is that how you want to describe it?
Yes.
Why?
Tomorrow, it is Red Day because, this fight against Galamsey has been on for a while. Yes, at some point, the pressure and the momentum sort of slowed down considerably. Mm-hmm. But it's back again because the more you see the reports, the more you travel around the country and you see the devastation, the more you listen to the news coming from the medical, institutions asking for more equipment,
right,
telling us about what this is doing to the people. The more you realize that, look, this thing, at this point, maybe we thought in Accra, we were far from it. But if the Densu is contaminated, it's most of Accra gets its water from the Densu.
True.
So none of us
is safe.
And look, we can't wake up every morning and be thinking about, when I'm going to drink water, I look at the glass and ask myself, should I not? Water is as essential to our bodies and to life as air.
The minister said he drinks it every day.
Well, I don't know if he's testing it to see what he's drinking. But let's face it, it doesn't matter where the water comes from. People think sachet water, bottled water, all the water that we have comes from some source which has a relationship with the ground. So none of us is immune from it. And at some point, what are we going to do if we can't afford water? So this is not a matter that we should take lightly. We are seeing what is happening. We are seeing deformed babies. We are seeing illnesses. We are seeing, contaminated food. We are seeing how it has devastated our cocoa farms and affected our revenue that we get from cocoa. We have even seen the African Development Bank pull back $250 million of a loan, of part of a loan to the cocoa board,
right,
to put in place some irrigation systems for cocoa farmers. What more do we want to see? We want to see dead bodies on the streets. We want to see our young children and young men and women floating in these waters. What do we want to see before we realize that it can't go on? And the fact that we can't get the metals out of the water overnight. If we don't stop this, we're killing ourselves.
You have heard government response to this matter, and in the last few days, they've been responding almost every day. From the meeting between the president and Organised Labour to the press statement that came from the Minister of Information, and then the last one just last night, making the same point virtually, that they are now asking the military to work with the small-scale miners to deal with this matter. They say that they are also bringing into the system river gas to patrol our river bodies. And then they'll go to Parliament on Tuesday to revoke LI 2462. This is so far government response to this matter. And they also make the point that if you want to look at the history of Galamsey, no government has fought it than it has done in the Akufo-Addo era.
Fine. This is not the time for us to get into these arguments. What is important is, yes, maybe no government has fought it like this government, but no government has had it as bad as this government. So it's something that has, the intensity has increased over the years. So we are, if this government says that they are not the ones who, they have done more than most, what has been the effect? Because the devastation we see is the worst we've seen. And if this gets worse, I mean, I look at what is happening in other parts of the world where, hurricanes and what have you. At least in some of those parts of the world, they've got the money. Here, we will go borrowing. Now, we are already heavily in debt. Let's borrow to do things that will progress our lives. Let's not be borrowing to do Galamsey. Very soon, we will be hit with a Galamsey levy. We saw a COVID levy. Nobody is going to give us free money to do this because this is deliberate destruction. Nobody is going to give us free money to do this.
You have heard Organised Labour's solution to this, and that's they are declaring a strike starting tomorrow. Some members say that they have asked their members to go to work tomorrow. The Ghana Medical Association, for example, nurses, government pharmacists, they've made it clear. Don't see out of work. Organised Labour's approach, and we are waiting to hear from them officially ahead of tomorrow. You think it is the best course of action that can happen at this very moment?
It would have been nice if everybody could join the strike. But let's face it, there are some services that if they join the strike, if all doctors went on strike, patients will be in the hospitals. And doctors have gone on strike when they have had pay issues.
All right. And even equipment failure.
Pay issues did not affect everybody in the country in the way that what the devastation caused by Galamsey is affecting us. So you wonder, but we are in a democracy.
And the thing is that the last time, even some of them, not the entire membership of Ghana Medical Association, the last time, for example, their members in the Ashanti region working at the Confounded Teaching Hospital, the last time they went on strike was because a machine that they've been working on at the oncology department had developed a fault. And the hospital administration had put in place requests to replace it. Yes, they went on strike. So and today they say that they were not consulted. They put this question before their council, and their council voted overwhelmingly against the decision to go on strike.
Well, one day they will have to answer to their relatives and their children who may be unfortunate enough to be affected adversely by this, and they will, thanks to technology, all this that we are doing is there forever.
Right.
Somebody is going to go back to it. Somebody's child is going to go back to it, and somebody is going to ask the question, why didn't you do it? Because we can't, make excuses. But fine, even if organized labor, that is why we are pushing forward our agenda, which is to continue the protest or to carry out the protest in a way that brings on board everybody in the country. So we are not saying workers, we are just saying Ghanaians. If you're a Ghanaian, wear your red band. Because as long, all of this builds momentum and piles the pressure on government. But if government says that they cannot declare a state of emergency, I beg to differ.
But what would that do actually?
You see, we need to immediately, first of all, you need to send a signal. Everything that we have done has been done, I won't say without a sense of urgency, but it's been done using a process that has ended up where we are, where we have not been able to fight it.
It hasn't really been effective.
Really been effective. So if you want us to take you seriously, declare the state of emergency. Get people, because we've done this before, where we banned small-scale mining.
For 2 years.
But we are not saying, get people out of the water bodies. I can't believe that, including myself, I drive, sometimes, and you are driving to Takrady, you are seeing the Changfans on the river. But we all sit in our cars and continue to drive. It can't continue. It cannot go.
So for the coalition, what is the plan for tomorrow?
We are wearing our red bands, and we are saying wear the red bands until the action that we are asking government to take.
And this is a call to every Ghanaian.
It's a call to every Ghanaian, whether in Ghana, anywhere on the planet you are. Wear your red band in protest, because wherever anybody is, we all have relatives, we all have family who are being affected, and we all ourselves are being affected by this, some worse than others. But, if we don't do this, then really, we are going to be sitting here and we are going to be wiped out in our own country. And there are areas in DR Congo where this has happened. And they've devastated the whole community, and the people have moved. So when we move from here, look at us. We are an English-speaking country surrounded by French-speaking countries who have their own problems. Where are we going? Unless we are going to the sea.
Carol, so what will be your response to those who say that the timing may not be appropriate because we have 59 days to an election?
We have 59 days to an election. It's a fact. I can't argue with that. But we are not God. So we don't control what is happening in people's bodies and the effect of that. And what is the point of being fixated on an election when you are going to end up, or you may end up, with a country where a lot of people are sick, a lot of people are ill? Who are you governing? You want to govern people, save the people, and then govern them. But if you don't want to save the people, fine, you can go on. But at some point, you'll be looking around. You yourself, you may not even live to govern. So that's where we are.
Before I let you go, your final words as you look into the camera and then speak to my viewers.
Look, everybody in Ghana, men, women, boys, girls, we are in a situation that requires us all to speak, to stand up, and to be counted. to make our politicians do what they should do for us. We voted them into power, so we can unvote them from power. But whatever we do, somebody will be in power. So whether it is Party A or Party B or Party C, this menace of contamination and destruction of our forests and our water bodies is not going to spare anybody. So whether you are the elected or you are the one that is electing, think about it. Think about your children. Think about your extended family who sometimes currently depend on you to support them. And think about what support you are going to give if you are unfortunate enough to be suffering yourself from some disease and they are suffering and all of us are suffering. So please, let's wear our red bands. Let us protest. It is the first step to making sure that government recognizes that every Ghanaian is concerned about this. Let's not sit as we have typically done in our homes and in the comfort of our, of public places and private spaces and have these conversations and do nothing. Because when we do nothing, nothing will do something to us. Thank you very much.
All right, so Carol Annan is a member of Ghana's coalition against Galamsey, and what they're doing is that tomorrow is Red Day. And for how long? Every single day?
We are going to continue. So let us start. We will announce additional measures as we go along. But if you will remember, we've gone through this before, like I said. Okay. We've done we've done Red Friday. There are so many permutations of this.
That you do.
And you will see the action as it happens.
All right.
But please, we are not going to do anything violent or anything. But we are saying that, sometimes the silent protest also works.
All right, Carol, thank you so much for coming to, and of course, this is the pulse here on Join Us Today. We are focusing on Organised Labour's position they've taken, and very soon we'll take you to the Trade Union Congress headquarters where members of Organised Labour are in a meeting, and after the meeting they will speak to the media. But remember last night, the Minister for Information, Fatima Abubakar, issued a statement indicating government new measures that they have adopted to fight this Galamsey menace. One of them is the deployment of the military to work closely with members of the Small-Scale Mining Association to rid our forests, and our river bodies of illegal mining, and also emphasizing the point that any form of mining around water and river bodies and our forest reserves are prohibited. Now, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu-Jinapor, is explaining why government at this stage cannot declare a state of emergency. He spoke on the Super Morning Show with my colleagues, Winston Amwa, Kwadwo Jansen, of course, Raymond Akwa.
So there were a series of meetings yesterday on various fronts, and indeed, I believe that there's commonality of minds on the way forward. But it's always important for me to point out that this struggle or fight has been ongoing for months and years. And since I've been minister, I can recall some of the most drastic measures which probably have ever been taken in our history to try to come to grips with this age-old issue of illegal small-scale mining. Notable among them being the decommissioning of excavators. We've gone through all those phases. And so it's an ongoing fight, and it's a process. And every now and again, we're having to review the situation, amend our strategy, and plow forward. So first is the decision to intensify the ongoing Operation Halt. As you know, the major enforcement tool we have deployed over the period is Operation Halt, which is led by the Ghana Armed Forces. And so there was a comprehensive, detailed operational meeting yesterday, which came to some conclusions. And the major takeaway is that operation will be intensified. The details of it, I think I will leave it to the Ghana Armed Forces or law enforcement agencies to take it from there. Second is the decision to
So I'll bring back Samuel Abuginapo's justification why a state of emergency cannot be declared. But I can now take you live to the TUC headquarters where the meeting with Organised Labour has just ended.
Organised Labour declared a nationwide strike. We defer from October 10th, 2024. This followed the failure of government to address our demands to halt illegal mining in and around river bodies and forest reserves, as outlined in our press statement on October 11, 2024. Subsequently, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, met with the leadership of Organised Labour on October 3, 2024. At that meeting, government offered a series of measures it intended to implement as part of efforts to combat the menace of illegal mining in the country. At a meeting of Organised Labour on October 7, 2024, the meeting resolved that the measures announced by government were not adequate in addressing our demands and stopping the dangers posed by illegal mining. We therefore affirmed the strike notice and informed the government accordingly. Yesterday, October 8, 2024, the government team met with the leadership of Organised Labour and Ghana Employers Association. The meeting discussed at length Organised Labour's response to the earlier measures announced by government. Following this meeting, government offered enhanced and time-bound measures in respect of our demands and the fight against illegal mining. These measures include: 1, the revocation of the environmental protection, that's the mining in forest reserves, Regulations 2022, LI 2642. His Excellency the President has directed the Minister responsible for lands and natural resources to submit a memorandum for the revocation of the LI to Parliament when it reconvenes on Tuesday, October 15, 2024. The redeployment of the military and other law enforcement agencies to flush out illegal miners from water bodies and forest reserves. The military is now supporting the forest guards of the Forestry Commission to protect the forest reserves from destruction by illegal miners and loggers. Government, working with the judiciary, has already established 14 dedicated courts, 7 high courts, and 7 circuit courts to handle illegal mining cases. Collaboration with the Organised Labour and other stakeholders to fight illegal mining, government has asked Organised Labour to nominate representatives to be part of the stakeholders committee to fight illegal mining in the country. 5, government supports the call by Organised Labour for all presidential candidates to sign a pact committing to the fight against illegal mining. 6, government affirmed its commitment to engage with stakeholders, including Organised Labour and the Ghana Employers Association, to bring an end to illegal mining in Ghana. These are significant concessions that Organised Labour demands and threats have forced government to make towards combating illegal mining, that's Galamsey in Ghana. Comrades, Organised Labour has therefore decided to suspend the intended strike action. We are calling all workers to report for work on 10th of October 2024 and beyond. Organised Labour will keenly monitor the implementation of these measures which government has made, and government will hear from us if it fails to do the needful. Come on! Come on! No interviews. Okay, sir. Press for remember I'm branching and get share with you. From where we are. Last time I person catch money said Organised Labour. Asia Waha on the 7th. 1st of October to declare a strike action. And I'm saying you be said to fighting Galamsey no aban endi wudwuma. Nti on the 1st Asia Waha na declare say by 10th aban will be there you boko dey on strike. Eye enra na me adum aban free Organised Labour pen for any omo ebobo nkomo. Say ne omo kan first no na say emu enyedu a and na omo say emu kina. The measures be egu upon so my Organised Labour.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Chief,
So those are live pictures from the TUC headquarters conference room. The breaking news this afternoon is that Organised Labour will no longer go on strike tomorrow. That's according to the Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress, Joshua Ansam, after a marathon meeting with leadership of various unions under Organised Labour. According to them, looking at the concessions, made by government decision to deploy the military, river gas, and other measures adopted by government, which implementation has already started, they have decided to allow government some space. And for that reason, the strike action proposed for tomorrow will not come on. And they are urging all its members to report to work tomorrow. That is the breaking news this afternoon. The strike tomorrow will not come on. Let me take you back to the TUC conference where my colleague James Abeji is there interacting with some members of Organised Labour.
There's no ahead of us. Mr. Chairman, tier 2 is in 13 months arrest.
So we'll get James Avegi's attention shortly. We'll take you back to the conference room of the Trade Union Congress. And according to them, they met with governments. They met among members of Organised Labour. And the decision that looking at what government is doing so far, including the deployment of the military to rid our river bodies and our forest reserves of illegal mining, and government declaration that mining along these areas remains an illegality, they have decided that the proposed strike tomorrow will not happen. In fact, they are urging their members to report to work tomorrow. That is the breaking news coming from Organised Labour. After a marathon meeting, the Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress just announced that the strike will not happen tomorrow. The action they wanted to take to force government to take some action against illegal mining will not happen. The reason being that they have been studying government response to their demands and what government is doing to deal with the matter, and they've come to the conclusion that government deserves some space. The reason why they cannot go ahead with a strike, but they'll be monitoring. If at some point they come to the conclusion that nothing is happening, they may go back to the earlier decision. Let me bring in again James Aveji at the TUC conference room. Right, James, so tell us what is happening now. Right, so we'll get James Aveji's attention and bring that to you shortly. We'll also be hearing from the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Samuel Abu-Jinapah, who is justifying why a state of emergency cannot be introduced in this conversation, but is telling us what government, the proactive measures government has undertaken or has committed to do in starting today and the days to come to rid the mining areas of illegal mining. But the breaking news this very hour is that Organised Labour's decision to go on strike tomorrow will no longer happen. The reason is that Organised Labour, after a marathon meeting, came to the conclusion that government deserves some space because of what government has started doing. They want to observe and then advise themselves accordingly. But for now, they are urging all their members to go back to work tomorrow. The strike action will not happen. So James Aveji is now speaking. Let's hear him.
The various leaderships of the various organized labor unions, they have declared that tomorrow's strike action have been called off. And that's a big announcement. We've been trying to see if we could get some of the leadership to speak to, but a number of them are not willing to speak to us. For what reason, we do not know, but just a few of them in some groups having conversations about what just happened. Before the announcement was made, what we were told, we picked from the meeting is that some of them do not agree with the fact that this would have to happen, but there were some reasons given by the TUC. Let me just run you through some of those reasons quickly. One is that the president or government has made another meeting with Organised Labour yesterday. That we didn't know of, but Mr. Joshua Ansan indicated that there was another meeting between government and Organised Labour yesterday, and from that meeting, the president has directed the Lands Minister Abu-Jinapah to send a document to Parliament when Parliament reconvenes in order to ask for the revocation of LI 2462, which allows for the mining in forest reserves as well as get it revoked. Also, government has assured Organised Labour of the intention to deploy soldiers or military men onto the river and forest reserves to guard it. They have also mentioned that, Joshua has also mentioned that government has set up 14 courts to deal with Galamsey issues, perpetrators who have been arrested to deal with them. And so that's one of the assurances. The last one is the fact that government has asked Organised Labour to nominate some members into the government enforcement team who will be monitoring the enforcement of the measures government is trying to roll out. And so those are some of the assurances they've had from government in the last hours of yesterday, for which reason they are saying that they are satisfied with that. And so the industrial action has been called off from tomorrow. The assurance is that government will hear from them if they are not able to implement this as they have assured them. So that's what we have. We tried speaking to some of them earlier. The members who not have a word or two with us, for which reason we do not know. But Elton, that's the big announcement coming from the conference room here of the Trades Union Congress.
Right, thank you very much, James Aveji. The news is quite clear. I mean, position of Organised Labour is very much known now, and they say that because of what government is doing, steps government is taking so far. And let me run by you the latest position of government on this matter. And government says that in its effort to clamp down on the long-standing menace of illegal small-scale mining, has concluded operational measures to intensify the ongoing Operation Halt, which is led by the Ghana Armed Forces, to rid our river bodies of all forms of mining activities. The phase of the operation will be done in conjunction with the Small-Scale Miners Association of Ghana. Government reassessed that river bodies and forest reserves remain red zones. Government reiterates its commitment to the fight against illegal small-scale mining and call on all stakeholders to join the fight. On Tuesday, 15th October, when Parliament is back, government will propose an amendment to revoke LI 2462 that currently grants mining in forest reserve. So this is government position on the matter. Before I bring you that justification by the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, let me pick a quick reaction from Awula Sewa from Eco-Conscious Ghana. So Awula, you heard Organized Labour. The strike will not happen tomorrow. Your reaction?
Very disappointed.
They say that government at least has taken some steps. And they want to observe to see how those steps will help, sanitize the situation we have.
It's not a question of sanitizing. We need to stop the poisoning that is going on. We asked for a state of emergency so that you go to the forest reserve and get rid of the miners, the illegal miners, and the equipment, both the forest reserve and the water bodies. There has been no state of emergency. We asked for the revocation of licenses that have been granted to mine in forest reserve. This has not been done. We asked for a pause on community mining. This has not been done. Because we know that we are incapable of monitoring the thousands of community mining, small-scale mining, whatever you want to call it. This hasn't been done. This is a government that has had 8 years to deal with this problem and hasn't done so. So to call off the strike now, for me, it's most disappointing because the demands have not been met. So on what basis is the strike being called off?
So, going forward, clearly, organized labor for a lot of people appeared to be the last resort in a fight against illegal mining. Now, the position they've taken is that the strike will not come on. Now, on the other side of the coin is government announcement of deployment of the military that, from what we are told, will start very soon. And
what does very soon mean? Very soon doesn't mean anything. You see, you need timeline. The president put his presidency on the line almost 8 years ago. Things went from bad to worse. Very soon doesn't mean anything. And then the government is going to make a proposal for the revocation of LI 2462.
Right.
You see, we have to be serious. We face an existential threat. And I fear that there have been compromises that are taking place. We know that it started with divide and rule, trying to get members to say they were not in agreement and so on and so forth. So I was hoping that organized labor would stand firm. But the fight has always been led by the civil society organizations. Organized labor took a very long time to fight, a very long time to realize that in a sick environment, your wages don't mean anything. If you are dying of cancer or taking of what is money the bank account. They took a long time to come, and I'm disappointed called off the strike without waiting to get government to actually agree to their demand. Government has just decided to do pick and choose. So I'm very disappointed. But the fight continues. The fight continues. Whenever
you may be disappointed, but can we at least allow what government wants to do? Can we give it time to see whether
what more time do you need? You had 8 years to do it. You haven't done it. The press conference was on the 11th of September.
Right.
Organized labor gave up to the 30th of September. Today is the 9th of October. If there was any seriousness, from the 11th of September, you'd have taken these measures. Why are you waiting till now? And now we have not been given a time frame. But as I said, civil society organizations are still continuing the fight.
In what form?
Well, in various response to continue applying pressure. There are other groups which may be going on demonstrations, but we always knew that there was a possibility that the strike would be called off without the demands being met. We face an existential threat, and we have to be serious about the demands being made. No time frames have been given. We've asked for a pause on community mining because we can't monitor it. Just, I've been giving this example, just a few weeks ago, the Atonso stream was pristine and clean. We saw the excavators going there. We contacted the regional minister. He did nothing. The police, after they had polluted the stream to some extent, arrested the illegal miners. They released them on police bail. They went right back to polluting the river. Contrast this to the demonstrators who were refused police bail. So there's no seriousness with dealing with illegal mining.
All right.
The Minerals Commission, as we speak, is still issuing licenses.
Because currently, as you speak, the law permits
for them to stop.
Because currently, as you speak, the law permits the Minerals Commission to do so.
Well, you see, the law can permit the government to do a number of things which is not doing. The Minerals Commission said they have not been told to stop issuing licenses.
Yes.
If we have understood that we cannot monitor small-scale mining, and therefore we should have a pause, why are licenses still being issued?
Okay.
It means that the demands have not been taken with any seriousness whatsoever.
Right. Awula, thank you so much. This is a developing story. I'm sure we'll have more reactions going forward. But another group that, found expression in the government statement is the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners. And the statement that came through last night, the statement referenced them, and then, the fact that they'll be working closely with the military in the new attempt to deal with the issue of illegal mining. The association has just issued a statement indicating its collaboration with government to protect river bodies and forest reserves. Al-Hassan Abdul Razak is Director of Communications and joins me on the line for some brief chat. So, Razak, you're welcome to the pause. You heard the Organized Labour. There will be no strike tomorrow, but government says that the deployment of the military will work alongside your group to bring sanity to the matter we are talking about, that is illegal mining. How ready is your group to work alongside the military or the security agencies in this renewed fight against this menace?
Thank you very much, and good evening to your listening viewers. Yes, the issue about illegal mining is a threat to all of us, and we as an association and small-scale miners in the country, I think we are not exempted from this threat, especially our water bodies and the forest reserves. And the call by Organised Labour to suspend the strike, I think, is a good news to some of us. Why is it a good news? Because it is an issue whereby we are all finding solutions on how to solve this problem. And as industry players, we need to support the civil society, we need to support government, we need to support everybody so that we all see how best we can team up. And this call, we've been calling for this for a very long time, that we need a collaborative move to make sure that we will sanitize the system. Because those people on the river bodies, they are not small-scale miners, and they are not mandated to work on the body and the river bodies. And those on the forest reserves too. Small-scale miners are not given license to mine there. So those who get the opportunity are only the large-scale companies, and then the illegal ones who are also there. So if we are flashing them out, it will be a collaborative thing, and then we take it up from there. We had a task force already who have augmented, and then we've supported Operation Vanguard, Operation Galamsey to see to it that we can stop these illegal activities on the river bodies. But because of recognition, because sometimes you will be operating, and these same security agencies will be disturbing you by saying that you don't have the mandate, you don't have this, you don't have that. And it got to a time we even adopted the Brain River, whereby we took it up upon ourselves. We can cross-check at the water company in Akufo-Addo. And we were able to destroy over 8,000 chamfer machines and other things. We spent our own money to do all this. But it got to a point whereby these security agencies were not allowing us to operate. And at the same time, you arrest these illegal miners, you will see some of the chiefs will come with their gloves and try to come and say they are begging. You will see politicians party chairman, you see, what's the name?
So Razak, just brief question. So exactly, let me just ask you, but we don't have so much time, Razak. So do you know the exact role you'll be playing in this new approach? Are you aware of what you'll be doing?
Exactly so. As we speak, we've already sent a signal to all these illegal miners on the river bodies. Now that government have given us a hearing that they want to collaborate with us, we've sent a signal to them. And this Friday coming, we are having a forum in Osino to make sure that we'll take up the mantle and see to it that we all collaborate with the military, and then we'll take them on.
And then the claim is that some of those undertaking illegal mining, some of them are actually some of your members, and under the guise of licensed small-scale mining, they're actually doing illegal mining. How are you also doing to fish those individuals out?
My brother, this time it's a collaborative thing, and we've gotten the assurance from the security agencies. No matter how it is, every business, everything that you do, even your household, you may have recalcitrant ones. But that shouldn't mean that doesn't mean that you are allowed to operate and do whatever they want. So now that we have that power, we have that tender which can collaborate. All those who are also doing that, we've sent a signal. If you're a member of our association, if you are a legal small-scale miner, and you are washing indirect into the water, we are coming after. We will arrest our own people. If only they will not change, we will arrest them and let the whole world know that. And we are doing this in collaborative with all the media and everybody. We'll bring everybody along and let us do it holistically and stop this nonsense that is happening in this country.
All right, Al-Hassan Abdul Razak, Director of Communication with the Small Scale Miners Association. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. This matter will not go away. We'll take a short break and return with more here on The Pulse. Stay put. Welcome back to The Pulse here on Joy News, and we're going to talk about the NDs, but before we do so, a statement that is just coming in from the Office of the President, and it relates to the Organised Labour and issues about Galamsey. The reason why Organised Labour decided to suspend tomorrow's strike. Let me run through the statement that is coming from the Office of the President. President Akufo-Addo has directed the Minister for Defense to deploy additional military forces to intensify the ongoing Operation HALT, which aims to curb illegal mining. The President has again instructed the Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, along with the Environmental Protection Agency, to suspend the enforcement of the Environmental Protection Mining Forest Reserve Regulation LI 2462 with immediate effect. So begin at this very moment, LI 2462 is suspended, and that's the directive to the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Also, President Akufo-Addo says in a bid to enhance legal action against illegal mining activities, 4 dedicated courts have already been established. The President further directed the Attorney General to work with the Chief Justice to increase the number of courts handling cases related to illegal mining. President Akufo-Addo is again urging Organised Labour to encourage all presidential candidates and their political parties to sign a pact committing themselves to the fight against illegal mining as part of their election pledges. In light of this, the President respectfully urged Organised Labour to suspend the planned strike action, and that has been done. President Akufo-Addo remains determined to end illegal mining and calls on all citizens, political parties and stakeholders to unite in this national effort. So 2 key takeaways: military already out to enforce a ban on illegal mining, and of course a directive to the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology and EPA to suspend the enforcement of the Environmental Protection Mining Forest Reserve Regulation LI 2462 with immediate effect. This is the latest, and that is what you have on your screens now, the latest communication coming from the Office of the President at the Jubilee House. And the key takeaway in here is the deployment of additional military personnel to fight, illegal mining. And of course, the other key issue worthy of mention is the directive to the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, along with the Environmental Protection Agency, to suspend the enforcement of the Environmental Protection Regulation LI 2462 with immediate effect. That is the breaking news coming from the Office of the President. As already may be aware, Organised Labour has suspended tomorrow's strike. Now, the National Democratic Congress is again in the news, and they have issues with the Electoral Commission, as the party says it will not accept a plan by the Commission to begin printing of ballots. The party says it will not accept that. Why? In the studio to help us understand the position of the NDC is Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, Deputy Director of Elections with the NDC. Doctor, you're welcome. Thank you. Looking sharp.
It is well.
Okay. So the EC says you should make your agents available, and they have indicated where they will be undertaking the printing of ballots, about 6 printing houses, all in Ghana, so that you can monitor the process. You have a problem with this? Why?
Yeah, very well. Let me say good afternoon to your cherished viewers. We have issues with it. In fact, fundamentally, it's flawed. The letter is flawed, and we think that they should withdraw the letter immediately.
Why?
One, you don't have a register. We are still having issues too over the register. We had an emergency IPAC meeting, which was telecast live, where you told us point blank that you are giving us a revised provisional register.
You don't have it yet? Not yet.
As of yesterday, they issued a statement when we wrote back to them about accepting some of their proposals and that we welcome the new provisional register they are going to give us and all that. They have not given us. Yesterday, they came out and said, they said 2 weeks.
They said 2 weeks or so?
Or so.
Which means that
yesterday was...
There's no definite answer to that question.
It means within 2 weeks or so.
Or so. So that means it could go beyond 2 weeks.
No, or earlier. In fact, let's quote...
That is your understanding.
Let's quote her well. She said, we'll give you the register in 2 weeks or earlier.
No, I heard also.
No, it's all earlier.
We can fact check that.
We have the
we can fact check
audio there. Yes. And so as of yesterday, it was earlier. Okay, because Tuesday was a 1 week. Yesterday, we started talking about it. They came and said, okay, we are working within the clock to bring you the register. You haven't given us a register. You have not given us the ballot statistics. What is ballot statistics? It tells you every constituency how many people are registered, how many people are registered in each polling station. What is the percentage in terms of 5? You know, they always add 5% to each of the polling stations because of ballot spoilage. People will spoil their ballot and come back, and then the presiding officer has to give them additional one. So because of that, when they are printing ballot papers, they add 5% to each polling station. You haven't done the statistics. We don't have it. All of a sudden, then you send a letter. This afternoon, bring your agents on Friday. We are starting printing ballot, notice of poll and ballot printing. We have no issue with notice of poll.
Notice of poll will just contain pictures of the presidential and parliamentary candidates.
Fantastic.
You shouldn't have an issue with that.
We have no issue with that. So we told them we are having issue with ballot printing. Okay. Their letter is saying 2 things.
Because as of now, you don't know the exact number on the electoral roll.
On the electoral roll. We don't have even the code books. The voter code books will tell you every polling station how many people are supposed to vote.
Isn't it the reason why sometimes they overprint, at least by 5%?
You don't do that. You don't even know the number, which one are you overprinting by 5. You need to know the number first before you add the 5%. If I have 500 voters, then I'll calculate 5% of 500.
Right.
But you and I don't even have the figure.
You don't even know the names you are taking out and the names you are bringing in.
You are bringing in because we are now going for exhibition again. That's the problem we're having with this institution. They are always looking for trouble for themselves. And we tell them that, look, this letter is faulty. Go and change the letter and just rewrite it and say you are calling us to come for notice of poll.
Right.
Not printing of ballot papers. We won't accept this. Nobody's going to accept this. We don't print ballot papers in vacuum. We print ballot papers with a document.
But
we don't have it.
But Dr. Friday is just 2 days away. At the last IPAC meeting, this matter, it didn't come up?
At all. It didn't come out. There was no discussion about printing of ballot papers and notice of poll. And let me repeat, we have no issue of printing of notice of poll. Because shortly after balloting, the next step is to do notice of poll. That will indicate the position and then the effigies of the candidates that are going to contest. Agreed, it's within their destiny. But before you go into ballot printing, you must have a register. We must know which register are you using, which calculation, which statistics have you done. So that based on the statistics, we all sit down. Because this election, we're not going to behave like the 2020. When they started printing ballot, look, in 2020, they started printing ballot papers before statistics came out. Were you not surprised about over 1 million ballots were printed, and when they called them, they say it was meant for second round vote.
Right.
Which 12 political parties go into second round vote? Have you ever seen that? Now here we are, and you want to print ballot papers on Friday. You are asking them to bring your agent to come. We are going to do ballot papers. In any case, we are meeting them tomorrow. We have already replied them.
You are meeting them tomorrow on this matter.
They've asked us in their letter that we will have a meeting tomorrow, 11 a.m.
You are requesting for the meeting?
No, we are not requesting.
This is an IPAC meeting?
In their letter.
It is an IPAC meeting?
It's not an IPAC meeting. It's just about the ballot printing and then the notice of poll. And that we should come for a briefing on it. We have responded. The General Secretary has replied them that we have no problem over your printing of notice of poll. But in terms of printing of ballot papers, no, put a stop to it. Where is your ballot statistics? Where are your voter code books? Where is the register? On which basis are you printing ballot papers?
And no response as of now?
I said they also replied them.
And that you should meet tomorrow?
We should meet tomorrow. We'll follow them up tomorrow.
For a briefing?
Anytime they write, we are going to reply them.
So until that is done, you are seriously against...
No, seriously. Look, do yourself, just look at it. We don't have a register. They told us that they are giving a revised provisional register.
And we don't even know when that is coming.
We don't know when it is coming, because yesterday they were still telling us that we didn't even say we are giving it to you 1 week. We said 2 weeks or earlier. So give us time so that we are still working. Then in between, we say we are printing ballot papers. Who does that? When we talk, they say we are attacking Electoral Commission.
So you hope that tomorrow's meeting will bring some clarity to this matter?
Of course, we are saying that tomorrow we will forcefully enforce our letter, our response to them. That look, if we are going in for printing of notice of poll, we have no problem with that.
Nevertheless, do you have your agents on standby?
Of course, we have already trained our agents already. Because we know these people. So because of that, we took notice of it and trained our agents way ahead for the ballot printing. Because we know these people can easily spring surprises like that. We train our agents for that. For this notice of poll and the printing of the ballot papers. We train our agents. But now that they are talking of, they brought a letter joining the two together. In fact, I appeared in a program today with Bosman, Dr. Bosman, on this West African Civil Society Institute. And I queried him about this issue. He tried to explain it that, look, it's rather the ballot, notice of ballots that we are going to print, not ballot paper. I read the letter to him and said, this is your letter. You just sent it. I received it. When I read it, everybody was shocked in the hall. I said, so you were trying to tell me that Dr. Computer was trying to make up a story? So why don't you change your letter and remove that ballot printing and leave it as notice of poll, and we have no problem with you.
Doctor, so some few questions so that I can let you go. So as far as the NDC is concerned, your concerns with the register, you're so of the view that certain names should not be on the register and that it must be clean.
Of course, yes, we told them. And then this afternoon, to repeat it, that is about the 243,000 old transfers that were added to the current transfers. It's not supposed to be there. Completely, and they agreed. They've taken it. The last meeting at IPAC, they showed some 333,000 or so. Now that is the total transfer data that they have. And we agreed to that. Because the 500 and something thousand they had was a wrong data. There was no transfer in this country, 2024, that reached 500 and something thousand.
Sure.
So that was an illegal issue. They've taken it out. And then the other problem was just the transfers, the illegal transfers. Today, he even went further to disclose that apart from sacking the district officer, they also sacked the returning officer, sacked the IT officer.
At Pusiga.
Almost the office staff of all of them have been sacked. If the NDC hasn't brought this one out, do you think this thing will... And we told them, it's not even Pusiga. There are other areas. And then, extend your frontiers to other areas and you'll see that. So that is what we are telling them. Now that they've agreed and they are working on it, if they said they had cleaned the register, why are they still looking for 2 weeks?
And then finally, is there any feedback on your call for an audit of the IT system?
They have not responded. They are still adamant on it. I don't know why they are adamant. This afternoon, he was saying after the register, the IT system is moribund. It has no use in their elections and all that. So after the register is printed, the IT is shut down and all that. He tried to explain certain things. But, my brother, 2 months is not far. We just have less than 2 months. It's 59
days today.
After 59 days, we'll do the audit. The audit will come from Independence Square to Flagstaff House.
All right.
Easier to do there.
So tomorrow is the meeting at 11 a.m.
11 a.m.
And of course, we will follow it up and hear the outcome of this matter. Thank you very much, Dr. Rashid Tanko, for your time.
The pleasure is mine. I'm grateful.
Dr. Rashid Tanko is Deputy Director of Elections with the NDC. Now, on our climate focus today, we are taking a look at nexus between climate-induced migration, peace and security We are taking you to northern Ghana, where the impact of climate change has gone beyond weather and related matters to issues of employment, peace, and security. This piece was put together by our partners from Youth Bridge Foundation. There's more in this report.
In the heart of West Africa, beneath its burning sun and upon its parched earth, a story of survival, conflict, and the quest for peace unfolds. This is northern Ghana, where the consequences of climate change are not just statistics, but stark realities that shape the destinies of its people. The Fulani and nomadic people and the Dagombas, farmers rooted to the land, find themselves at the crossroads of tradition and the harsh realities of climate change. Dams that once sustained life have dried up, leaving behind
drink, but we ourselves do not have a clean source of water to drink. But we have no other option than to also rely on this water for drinking and cooking.
For the Fulani, migration is not a choice, but a necessity. As water becomes scarce and grazing lands vanish, they move driven by the ancient rhythms of the earth and sky. But their journey is fraught with challenges.
The only source of water we have is the place where we are. The small dam we can use to harvest some small water. It will take us, after when the rain stops, it will take us maybe 1 or 2 months. Then it will finish. After that, we will not get any water unless we move to different places and get water for we ourselves and our animals. Because of we are suffering from getting water, so that's the reason why our father, he said we should organize some small amount so that we'll get people to come and help us to redig the place so that we harvest more water.
The arrival of the Fulani and their herds in Dagomba land sparks conflict. Lands once fertile are now battlegrounds, where survival is pitted against survival. Both sides bear the scars of this clash, with stories of loss and longing.
One day I was there when somebody calls me. The cattle are inside my maize farm. So I went and they already go outside the farm. So I chased them with motorbike. I couldn't be able to meet them. Unfortunately, I met their owners coming to the roadside. So I talked to them. Then they went back and saw that it was their cattle. So they came to apologize to me, so to forgive them.
Their intention is that the grass near the farm is very softer than where they are grazing every day. So they plan to come at the day you are not in the farm. They will come and graze at the edges and enter inside your farm and graze.
There are times my head disturbs other people's farms. The reason is because the population is increasing. Places where our cattle used to graze has now been turned into farms, and cattle would always graze in those places now, and sometimes they walk into people's farms. But the reason we've stayed here for long is because we are patient, and as much as possible, we try to talk and negotiate with the people whose farms are destroyed by the cattle.
They have some advantages to the communities and sometimes disadvantages. The advantages are that sometimes if you want cow to buy, it easily gets. But the disadvantages are that they normally destroy farmers' farm products, and sometimes kidnap people in the bush.
Fulani people, they are just like us. We do everything together. We have service together. Their children even come join our children in school. They come for health service. Almost every community activity we do it with them.
The Fulbe just happen to be an ethnic group that is specialized in pastoralism. You have about 5 different types of Fulbe pastoralists. How many people are aware of this? Very often they talk about transhumans. Transhumans don't create problems for us. You have the transhumans. They come, one man can be carrying 5, 6, 7,000 cattle. The ECOWAS protocols mandate us to create corridors for these people.
Welcome back, and before we go, the dry spell that occurred in parts of northern Ghana severely impacted 8 key agricultural areas, threatening the livelihood of over 928,000 farmers. According to experts, the implication of the crisis will likely extend beyond immediate crop losses. They say it threatens the stability of food supplies and overall economy. To help the country avert the challenges that arise from this dry spell in terms of food production, the Ghana Grains Council is gathering agri companies and experts together to discuss solutions. But here on the pause today, we want to preempt the solution by speaking to members of the council. We've been joined in the studio by Emily Afaribia-Buahin, Executive Secretary, Ghana Grains Council. Emily, you're welcome.
Thank you.
So you want to understand what went wrong and find solution to address future occurrence? How are you going about it?
Okay. Good evening to your listeners also. Unfortunately, I would say the climate change that we were not really prepared for as a country has caught up with us. The prolonged dry spell that has affected the country, 8 regions of a household term now. Everybody talks about climate. In our own way, we realize that rainfall patterns in our community or in our house, even the southern part of Ghana is now raining.
Sure.
October heavily. So people who thought that previously there won't be any rain in Accra are experiencing heavy rains. So it's more like not really planning as a country, because there are ways that though climate change has happened, we could have done by research, getting varieties that's short-lived, because now you can't really predict when the rain will start and cereals, majority of the varieties we have is more than 3 months, 90 days and above before they start. You can say that you can get good yield, but there was more than 2 months dry season in the north, and the time also coincided with when farmers decided to apply fertilizer for the crop to be developed. And from that time, 8 weeks, there was no rain. So, in Ghana, we don't have any irrigation facility. And even if we were to have irrigation facility now, with the issue of our rivers, bodies, Galamsey, it will be even difficult for us to even implement that. So it's a big issue.
So this dialogue that is coming up, what exactly are you seeking to achieve?
We, as Ghana Grains Council, fortunately, our membership cuts across all the value chain actors.
Okay.
From farmers, that's farmer-based organizations, aggregators, nucleus and commercial farmers. We have insurance companies, banks and non-bank institutions, warehouse operators and other things. But so we realized that, fortunately, the northern part, which was severely affected by the rain, is now going to harvest.
All right.
So the government must have strategy in place that will reduce post-harvest losses as minimum as possible.
Right.
Because now the yield, the estimated yield is about 40% that you are going to lose. So if before harvest you are losing 30 to 40% already, then you must make sure that post-harvest loss is minimal.
Exactly. Otherwise, food security become an issue.
The crop to be developed. And from that time, 8 weeks, there was no rain. So, in Ghana, we don't have any irrigation facility. And even if we were to have irrigation facility now, with the issue of our rivers, bodies, Galamsey, it will be even difficult for us to even implement that. So it's a big issue.
So this dialogue that is coming up, what exactly are you seeking to achieve?
We, as Ghana Grains Council, fortunately, our membership cuts across all the value chain actors.
Okay.
From farmers, that's farmer-based organizations, aggregators, nucleus and commercial farmers, we have insurance companies, banks and non-financial, non-bank institutions, warehouse operators and other things. But so we realized that fortunately the northern part, which was severely affected by the rain, is now going to harvest.
All right.
So the government must have strategy in place that will reduce post-harvest losses as minimum as possible.
Right.
Because now the yield, the estimated yield is about 40% that you are going to lose. So if before harvest you are losing 30 to 40% already, then you must make sure that post-harvest loss is minimal.
Exactly.
And
otherwise, food security become an issue.
By having collaboration with institutions like organizations like Ghana Grains Council, where membership have access to things like warehousing, proper training of how to do proper harvesting of your grains in the farm, and it has to be handled in a manner that is professional.
Right.
If we leave this harvest season in the north to the smallholder farmers or people who are not specialized, that's where high post-harvest losses will come. So now we have to protect what we have.
Of course, it's very important. So when is the dialogue?
The dialogue is on Tuesday, 15th October 2024 at EcoBank Head Office Conference Hall.
All right, we'll monitor that. Thank you very much, Emily, for coming through.
Thank you too.
And of course, that's the Ghana Greens Council and holding the dialogue to see the way forward as far as the dry spell is concerned. That's our show for today. For more stories, log on to our website, myjoyonline.com. Galamsey Organised Labour suspend October 10 strike. Organised Labour motives align with NDC's political strategy for 2024 elections, according to the MPP. Anti-Galamsey protesters must face the law, but we must solve the menace. That's former President John Akufo-Addo. My name is Elton Brobe. Whatever you are up to in the hours ahead, I hope is profitable. Tomorrow, same time, Thursday, we shall be here at another edition of The Pulse as we monitor government response and actualization of it on the ground. Take care and have a good evening.